The fake Bhutanese refugee scandal continues to gripe the nation as Nepal police submitted its final report to the District Attorney Office today with recommendations to prosecute 33 alleged culprits, of which 17 are in police custody, while the remaining still absconding. The District Attorney Office now has 2 days to file charges and prosecution at the District Court Kathmandu against the alleged individuals, including political bigwigs. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Police submit the final investigation report on the fake Bhutanese refugee scam to the District Attorney Office. 32 individuals alleged of 6 different violations. Discussions on the government's policies and programs held for the second day today. Lawmakers of the main opposition criticized the government's proposal. Talk in support. India is holding a key G20 tourism meeting in Kashmir amid heightened security. China denies to attend the event, citing its opposition to holding any G20 meetings in disputed territory. And Nepal start off Women's Volleyball Challenge Cup tournament with an impressive win over Kyrgyzstan. Uzbekistan outclassed Sri Lanka. India thumped Bangladesh and Kazakhstan defeat Maldives. Nepal police, after arresting 16 alleged culprits in the fake Bhutanese refugee scam, have concluded their investigation and submitted the final report with recommendation to the District Attorney Office. The police investigation was carried out for 59 days and a 150-page report has been submitted to the District Attorney Office with recommendations for action against 33 defendants, including 16 that have been arrested and 17 that are still absconding. 113 victims who were shown the dream of reaching the United States as refugees filed 23 complaints as a group. On the basis of the complaints, the police have recommended to file case against 33 individuals, collect 275 million rupees from them and demanded jail sentences. The case began when 2 victims had filed a complaint at the Valley Crime Investigation Office. The police then first started the investigation against former Deputy Prime Minister Top Bahadur Rai Majhi, former Home Minister Balkrishna Khad, Secretary Teknarayan Pandey, among other high-ranking officials, on crime against state and organized crime, among others. The main mastermind of the scam, Sanu Bhandari and Keshav Dulal, were arrested on 26th of March. 2 weeks later, another individual linked to the scam, Sandeep Sharma, was arrested by the police. The authority to file cases against the alleged culprits of the scam on the recommendation of the police now lies with the District Attorney Office. Lawmakers have presented their thoughts in favor of and against the government's policies and programs at the second session of the budget discussion at the House of Representatives today. Chairperson of CPN Unified Socialists, Madhav Kumar Nepal, opined that the government needed to work to find solutions to the current economic stalemate and earn the public's trust. He called on all stakeholders to avoid blame games and unproductive criticism, adding that there was no alternative to ensuring the implementation of the proposed programs.
यसका निम्ति नै छलफलको आवश्यकता पर्दछ, सुझाव सल्लाहहरूको पनि आवश्यकता पर्दछ। यस सन्दर्भमा यो जुन सम्बोधन आएको छ त्यो पोजिटिभ छ, सकारात्मक छ, देशको समस्यालाई पहिचान गरेको छ र समाधानको निम्ति आफ्नो तर्फबाट प्रयत्न पनि अगाडि बढाएको छ।
Lawmakers of ruling Nepali Congress and Maoist Centre claimed that the proposed programs and policies were relevant to current time, while opposition lawmakers opined the proposed programs would not be able to address the looming economic crisis.
राज्यको मूल प्रभावीकरणमा समेटिन नसकेका वर्ग र समुदायको बारेमा यसले खासै उल्लेख गरेको छैन। त्यसकारणले यो नीति कार्यक्रम समाजका कुन वर्ग र समुदायमा बढी प्रेरित छ, कुन वर्ग समुदायप्रति यो आकर्षित छ भन्ने कुरा नै यसमा अन्यल छ।
Discussion on the programs and policies introduced by the government on 19th of May began from yesterday. Discussions on the government's policies and programs have started at the House of Representatives. 20 lawmakers have already registered a notice for the amendment of the policies and programs. However, the chances of amending the policies and programs or the suggestions given by lawmakers being incorporated in them are minimal. Not only the lawmakers from the opposition but also from the ruling side have registered notice to amend the policies and programs for the upcoming fiscal year. The parliamentarians who took part in the discussions have suggested to amend the Public Procurement Act and give importance to parliamentary monitoring to curb corruption. Lawmakers have also advised to form a policy regarding land plotting to increase agricultural production. The lawmakers also demanded to amend the policies and programs, saying that it has failed to give a clear message regarding the technical education sector. They also said there should be a competitor for Nepal Oil Corporation. In the amendment notice registered, it has also been mentioned that health services in the local levels should be better managed and required infrastructures should be developed to promote electric vehicles. Apart from the amendment of the policies and programs, lawmakers also gave plenty of suggestions. However, the suggestions presented at the parliament have been ignored by the government. It has also been found that the government has also not given attention to the implementation part either. Experts opine that if a trend of holding discussions before presenting the policies and programs was developed, views of everyone would be incorporated. While most local levels depend largely on the grants allocated by the centre, Kathmandu Metropolis is poised to challenge the trend as it prepares for the next fiscal year's budget plans. The federal government managed to collect just 54% of its target revenue in the 10 months of the ongoing fiscal year, which amounts to 756 billion rupees. This resulted in the government reducing its budget for the next fiscal year, including the grants allocated for local levels. However, despite the ongoing economic slump, Kathmandu Metropolis managed to collect substantial revenue in the same period, which has been attributed to its tight revenue policies. The metropolis that had allocated 25.41 billion rupees for the ongoing fiscal year is preparing to raise its budget for the next fiscal. Kathmandu Metropolis has collected over 925 million rupees additional internal revenue compared to previous year. The metropolis had aimed at collecting 4.85 billion rupees, of which it has already collected 4.386 billion. The metropolis has also received 1.143 billion rupees under revenue distribution among federal and provincial setups this year, which was 764 million rupees greater than last year. It has raised around 978 million rupees in taxes related to properties. Meanwhile, provincial and local levels are also doing legworks to finalize their programs for the next fiscal year based on the grants allocated by the federal government and the size of internal revenue collected in the ongoing fiscal. Local levels receive equalization grants. However, there are doubts on whether local levels in rural areas are aware of the minimum requirements to be eligible for the grants. For instance, the Bishnupur Rural Municipality of Saptari is receiving an equalization grant of 93.9 million rupees for the next fiscal year. Annapurna Rural Municipality of Kaski is receiving 98.9 million rupees. However, chairpersons of both the local levels are unaware of the scale of budget it will receive and the purpose for it. The federal government allocated grants for local levels on 4 different headings on recommendation of the National Planning Commission. For the next fiscal year, the Natural Resources and Financial Commission has allocated 87.35 billion rupees. However, the lack of knowledge on the criteria for equalization grant has had a telling impact on the grants that local levels reach out for. Most of the budget allocated by the Commission goes to metropolises. The centre has even gone on to reduce the 13% budget for metropolis after it was understood that 34 local levels could receive less than 65 million rupees. 16 of rural municipalities in rural areas, mountainous and hilly regions are receiving less than 70 million rupees in equalization grant. The local levels are responsible for looking after human development, economic and social development indicators. However, due to lack of knowledge, they have failed to demand for budgets to develop their regions. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we asked you what should the government do to safeguard home industries. 45% voted for option A, use domestic produce, 5% for B, grant in raw materials, and 50% for C, industry-friendly policies. And here's today's question. Why has the provision of providing 10% beds at hospitals free of charge not been implemented? Your options are A. Lack of monitoring, B. Defying the law, and C. Not aware of the provision. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Now, in our Public Voice segment, today we've asked in several provinces, how has the government dealt with the issues raised by lawmakers at the parliament? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
भ्रष्टाचारीहरूको बारेमा हिसाब खोजखात गर्नुहुन्छ कसैले चाहिँ सुनवाई गरिरहेछ कसैले सुनिरहेछ छैन
जुन कुरा उहाँहरु भन्नुभएको छ त्यसले लागू त गर्नु पर्यो नि
मिटर ब्याजीको कुरा खाली गर्ने संसदमा
नागरिकताकै बारेमा छ सबै संसदबाट पारियो त्यो भन्ने सुनेको छ तर सुविधा केही पनि देखेको छैन
कुन महत्त्व दिने भन्ने कुरामा गोलमटल पारिदिने सांसदहरूले कुरा उठाइरहेको छ
कार्यान्वयन त एउटा पनि भए छैन हाम्रो नजरमा अहिलेसम्म
सानो सानो अवधिको सरकार बन्छ एउटाले एउटा नीति ल्याउँछ अर्कोले त्यो नीति बन्द गरिदिन्छ
कतिपय जायज कुराहरू सदनमा मान्यज्यूहरूले उठाउनु भएको छ यसलाई चाहिँ सरकारले अहिलेको सरकारले महत्त्व नै दिएको देखिन्छ
सरकारले धेरै कुराहरू चाहिँ संसदले उठाएको कुरा चाहिँ गर्यो भने देश चाहिँ धेरै राम्रो हुन्छ
विषयवस्तु त राम्रो उठाएर छ उलाई त अब कार्यान्वयन गर्ने व्यवहारमा लागू गरिएको छैन
संसदले उठाउनु विषय त राम्रै उठाउँछन् सरकारले कति पनि प्राथमिकता दिँदैन
सरकार त्यति गम्भीर भए जस्तो चाहिँ मलाई अनुभव भएको छैन
गर्ने भए त आफ्नो नीति कार्यक्रम अनुसार चाहिँ अगाडि बढ्दै नि
कृषिका योजनाहरू त बोलेका छन् गर्ने भनेका छन् अब सरकारले खास प्राथमिकता दिए जस्तो लाग्दैन मलाई
बोलीकै ठेगान नभएको सांसदहरूले बोलेको कुरा के सम्बन्धन होला
कुराहरू उठाइरहनु भएको छ तर यो चाहिँ सरकारले चाहिँ यसो नजर पुर्याएको जस्तो चाहिँ मलाई लाग्दैन
संसदमा चाहिँ किसानका लागि मल खाद्यान्न ल्याउँछौँ भनेर चाहिँ 10औं वर्ष भयो हामीले सुनिरहेका कुरा बर्खा आउँछ मल बिउ किन्न गयो आउँदै पाइदैन छैन भन्छन्
India is holding a key G20 tourism meeting in Kashmir amid heightened security and opposition from China. The working group meeting is being held in Srinagar, the summer capital of the federally administrated territory, from today till Wednesday. This is the biggest international event organized in the region since India scrapped its special status in 2019. Over 60 delegates from G20 member countries are expected to attend the event. China, however, has said it will not attend, citing its firm opposition to holding any kind of G20 meetings in disputed territory. Both India and Pakistan claim Kashmir in full, but control only parts of it. The nuclear-armed neighbors have already fought 2 wars over the region. Last month, Pakistan, which is not a G20 member, had criticized India's decision to hold the meetings in Kashmir, calling it an irresponsible move. India, however, said that it was natural to hold G20 events and meetings in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, which are an integral and inalienable part of the country. In 2019, India had divided the Muslim-majority state of Jammu and Kashmir to create 2 federally administrated territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Ladakh is a disputed frontier region along the line of actual control between India and China, and both countries claimed parts of it. The region has seen an armed insurgency against India since 1989, as India accuses Pakistan of fomenting the unrest by backing separatist militants, a charge denied by Islamabad.
Sports News.
Nepal got off to a flying start, defeating Kyrgyzstan in the Kava Women's Volleyball Challenge Cup that began from today. In the match held in Covered Hall of the National Sports Council this afternoon, the hosts defeated Kyrgyzstan in 3 straight sets. Nepal had piled pressure against a relatively weaker contender right from the start, defeating them 25-11 in the first set. Kyrgyzstan posed a challenge in the second set, however, cheered by home crowd, Nepal took the second set 25-19. Kyrgyzstan took a 6-4 lead in the third set, but swept up points to win the third set 25-11. This was debut match for Nepal's coach Jan D. Brandt and 2 other players, Rima Kaur and Sangam Mahato. The team had rested spiker Saraswati Chowdhury in today's match. Nepal will play against South Asian contender Bangladesh in its second match, slated for 3 p.m. tomorrow. Earlier in the inaugural match, Uzbekistan had defeated Sri Lanka in straight sets. In the second match played today, India clinched an easy win over Bangladesh in 3 sets, 25-3, 25-9, 25-6. Likewise, Kazakhstan also defeated Maldives in straight sets, 25-16, 25-14, 25-6. A total of 8 teams are participating in the Kava Women's Volleyball Challenge Cup. and Nepal are in Group A alongside Bangladesh, India and Kyrgyzstan. Group B consists of teams from Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. Up next is the weather update. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.